Gotta redo it. We're here for another episode of Coffee Before Bed. I am your lone co-host, your lone host for the day, Mizell. Just got done casting the series today. It was a lot of fun. It was a blast. But we're here to teach you, to learn you a little bit about the day. As we just got done with Week 3, Day 2 in the spring split of LPL. We had TT versus WE. TT still looking for their first win of the split, while WE looking for their second. Then we had AL versus Ultra Prime. Now that one was a banger. Both teams still looking for their first win on the split. AL was 0-2, and Ultra Prime was 0-1. It was a fun day. Pretty long day, it felt like. But first series, big standouts. TT, obviously, we're trying to come in, as I was saying, finding a win. And I think off the back of UCal, we put as a big focus tonight, because UCal saw some promise last year, saw some promise at the beginning of this split, but really needs to have a step-up moment. And facing up against Shanks on the other side, another kind of need to step up moment in terms of mid lane matchup. So setting that up was huge, the Shanks versus UCal, but especially how Hung, the jungler of Team WE, and Beishuan, the jungler for TT, went up against each other. And the veterancy of the bot lane, Hope versus Huanfeng, respectively, were some big focuses going in. Now, game one, WE destroyed. It wasn't really destroyed. I mean, it was kind of destroyed. It was 14-2, which was kind of impressive. And it was pretty much off the back of that combo that I was saying, the Beishuan as well. Pretty big. The game 2, though, was actually pretty back and forth. It was not clean from Team WE, even though they did come away with a win. They had to work for it a little bit. Hung got to play a setup champ in Vi. Got to really help out the Bu Nar. It was pretty big as well. So it was a 2-0 for Team WE. Pretty standard stuff from their department. I feel like a big show up from Shanks. He got double MVPs for both the games in the series. He really popped off, and we were just saying how wanting to see him step up, wanting to see him rise to the occasion, and hey, he did just that. And I think he was the brightest point for me for last year of WE, who went winless. And now we're getting to see kind of that next growth from him, which is really cool. So that was our first series of the night. Our second series of the night was Anyone's Legend versus Ultra Prime. Obviously, a lot of big names, a lot of big reunions. Betty and Sword Art coming back together. Also, it was Pingzi's first series in the LPL. Huge shout out to him. This is my Mizell's moment, because Pingzi, the mid laner, now newly dubbed and taking Harder's place that we were talking about so much beforehand on the first episodes of this show, needs to step up, coming from the FPX Blaze roster that won in 2022 LDL summer, and was a moment to say, going against Ultra Prime and Ching, who is another developing player coming over to Ultra Prime from that FPX Blaze roster as well. Epic beer, by the way. It was an interesting matchup, but it wasn't necessarily that focused. The big focus going into this one was bot lane. It was Doggo Baolan for Ultra Prime. Yes, that Baolan. IG Baolan. IG World Champion Baolan. Versus Betty and Sword Art. Betty being the longest tenured active ADC player. And Sword Art, a legendary figure of the scene, right? And them coming together. I think this played a lot. Doggo, Baolan. Doggo, first of all, last year had a really rough time. Really rough time on BLG. Finally coming over to a new home, paired up with Baolan. They looked bad in the first couple weeks. They looked bad. Outright. And I think that being able to see the way that they work together this time around was just awesome. It was just awesome. Honestly, Doggo felt so comfortable. He felt so confident. He was moving forward a lot. He was going ham on the Zeri. All right, going ham on the Zeri. But I would say, as a whole, Betty Sword Art, they showed up in certain moments. Game 1 went really well for Anyone's Legend. It ended up being a 2-1 in favor of Ultra Prime, but honestly, after Game 1, AL didn't look great. Ning popped off as a setup, as a facilitator for Ultra Prime. He played Sejuani all 3 games. Game 1, not great. Game 2, Game 3, amazing. His pathing to redirect Xiaohao, the jungler for Anyone's Legend, was really, really good. And they consistently were there to stop ganks. Xiaohao played Elise the first 2 games of the series, looked really good in Game 1, was denied in Game number 2. And then Game 3 looked really good. Doggo got MVP both 2 and 3. Went unkilled in the last game of the series, 5-0-9. It was really good stuff. Doggo, honestly, I was so happy in the moment because I am a bit biased for Doggo. And to see him kind of go through what happened last year on BLG with all the craziness of the roster, the change-ups, him having breakdowns and things like that. Like, to see him come up like this with Balan, with Ning, with the newer duo of Harry in the top side and Ching in the mid lane, I'm excited for Ultra Prime. They're looking a lot better. Feels bad for Anyone's Legend. They are now 0-3 on the season. But all in all, I think they will pull through. I think Ping Z needs a little bit of time to develop. I think Harder was a little bit more stable, even though he wasn't really. But ZDZ looked really good for Anyone's Legend. I think ZDZ looked incredible, actually, going against Harry. And those were my big takeaways. So we don't have Genghis here to test. So maybe you take your own test at home. Just wanted to get a quick episode in, show you guys all what happened today on the LPL, and get a little bit of insight what was going on. Appreciate you all tuning in to another episode of Coffee Before Bed. This is episode 6. My goodness, and we're just getting started as we got a long season ahead of us. Again, it was TT falling to WE 2-0, and then we had a banger of a 3-game series between AL and Ultra Prime, ending in Ultra Prime's 2-1 victory and their first victory of the season. Thank you all again. We'll see you next time, and make sure you either have some blankets, some coffee, or both.